Welcome back. Well, today we're going to take a dive into the 2023 Governing Body Update number 7, and it's really good to take a close look at these updates to see what is the governing body, what are they continually doing with their so-called sheep or followers. And so we're going to dive into this, and bear with me, and we'll change over to that screen. Okay, so we'll just get right into their website here. I like to check out their website a little bit when I'm in it. Who will save the civilians? They're playing on this war again. And you can see these are their last videos they featured. This one was, Did the Bible Predict the Way People Think and Act Today? So of course they use one scripture. And then Halloween, we're going to do a little coverage on that, perhaps, if I have time today. And bad things happen to good people. Well, of course they do. So now, I always like to see what's new, and we go into the what's new section, and this is where we get into these updates. So we get right into this update, and we'll put it right on the screen here for us.
Welcome. We have some exciting things to share with you in this update. I'm sure you'll find it very encouraging. This month makes the 10-year anniversary of the release of the Revised English New World Translation at the annual meeting in 2013.
Now, a lot of times I
that
like
historic
to
program
fast forward.
was streamed to 31 lands, and over 1.4 million attended in person or via internet stream. The complete New World Translation is now available in 158 languages. But if we take into consideration those languages that have the complete Christian Greek scriptures, or part of the Christian Greek scriptures, that brings the total to 279 languages. We've found this revision to be so helpful in our ministry, haven't we? And now the governing body has approved of adding yet another tool to help us quickly access the powerful message in the Bible.
These guys are he's going on to talk about their 2013 release, their Bible.
They don't often hear.
And this is this one here. If you guys haven't seen it, of course, everyone's probably seen this. And what they have in this Bible is like a little Live Forever book in it. It's a little, they have little pictures. I don't know if you can see that with the lighting there. There you can kind of see it if I turn it down. So they have all these little pictures in here. You can go through it, and it's kind of like a little study book. You know, right in the beginning. So you don't even need the Bible, really. And it's like taking their Live Forever book and ramming it in here. Now, this 2013 edition is the most inaccurate version yet. Now, I use their 1984 edition, which is a little more accurate. But this one is missing, like, whole sections of verses. Pertinent verses to what Jesus did, and we cover that on some other videos. But anyways, this is not a Bible to be proud of. And the other thing I want to show you guys with this Bible, and I'm going to just pull it up here really quick here. Okay, so I'm online on Appendix 5, A5, the Divine Name. And if you look at some of our other videos, you'll see that we talk about the governing body. And in their recent annual meeting and in other Watchtower magazines, they talk about them not being inspired, or them not being the chosen ones. You know, they mention this. They talk about this. They say that in court. But yet here they went into the New World Translation. Let me see if this blows up a little bigger here. And right there, the New World Translation does not follow common practice. It uses the name Jehovah a total of 237 times in the Christian Greek scriptures. You see, there's no other Bible on earth that uses Jehovah in the Christian Greek scriptures. Why? Because it's not in there. It's not in any of the ancient manuscripts. So here's what they say. They say right here, in deciding to do this. So they already told us they're not inspired and they're no special people. They make mistakes. That's what they said. This is a big, big mistake, because in deciding to do this, the translators took into consideration, that means the governing body took into consideration two factors. The Greek manuscripts we possess today are not of the originals. Well, yes, we agree. And of the thousands of copies in existence today, most were made at least 2 centuries after the originals were composed. And then number 2, by that time, those copying the manuscripts either replaced the Tetragrammaton with kairos, the Greek word for Lord, or they copied from the manuscripts where this had already been done. There's their explanation, folks. They're assuming, they made a big assumption here that this is what happened, but it didn't happen. You would see it at least once or twice, wouldn't you? Jesus never ever used Jehovah. Jehovah is not part of the Greek scriptures. This is the first biggest lie that this organization has, and they admit it right here. So I'm showing you where you can find it, and you can check this out for yourself if you're a Jehovah's Witness and you don't believe me. Okay, for this part of the video, I put the speed to normal. They're talking about this new release. You see, in the olden days, we used to use, way back when I started, back in the 80s, we used a book called the Make Sure book, Make Sure of All Things. He's going to talk about this Make Sure book. And from there, they formed the Reasoning book. Now, if you want to talk about a Book of Mormon, well, the Reasoning book is a book in itself. And I have a Reasoning book in the back of one of my Bibles here. I actually had a Bible rebound, and I put the Reasoning book, Reasoning from the Scriptures, can you see that? In the back of my Bible. So, you know, that's all the Reasoning book right there. So if you want to talk about a Book of Mormon, the Jehovah's Witnesses far surpass the Book of Mormon. Because the Mormons take the King James Version, and then they have another Bible they call the Book of Mormon. And they claim it was more built for North America. Well, the Watchtower has taken the Bible, you know, the same King James Version. They've taken a lot of stuff out, put Jehovah in there where they want. They have no scholars. They're not inspired. There's no prophets. They admit that they make mistakes. You know, this is what a lot of our videos are about. And yet they go ahead and make these changes, and because they think it must be in there. Jehovah must be in there. Or is this a sales pitch? If you take the word Jehovah, nowhere on earth can we reconcile that that's the proper pronunciation for YHWH. And therefore, a lot of the Jews don't use that word. So, Yahweh is one of the closer words that's common, that they know of. But Jehovah is nowhere to be heard of. It's nowhere. Jehovah is a Watchtower word. And where did they get it? Well, there was a Catholic monk that came up with this word back in 1219 of our Common Era, something like that. And the Catholic Church themselves said, no, we're not going to use it. It's not close enough. But they did sneak it into a couple of King James versions. They snuck it in a few places, this word Jehovah. So it did kind of get out there and be used in some versions. Now, Rutherford, or these are Rutherford, Knorr, these Watchtower people, they grabbed onto this and they made a religion out of that name, Jehovah. So whenever you hear the word Jehovah in this broadcast, that equals Watchtower. That equals this guy right here, the governing body. That's what this equals. Jehovah equals Watchtower. Watchtower Writing Committee. It's men. Jehovah equals the men of the Watchtower. So you have to reprogram your thinking when you listen to these broadcasts. Jehovah equals the Watchtower. We know that. We know that's nothing to do with a God. This is to do with the Watchtower trying to propagate their literature. So now they're trying to transition us from using the Reasoning book and everything to their Watchtower site. They want to control the flock through the website. It's much cheaper than paper. Paper's becoming obsolete in some senses, but now they're going to push everyone in the organization to have a tablet. And these tablets aren't expensive. It wouldn't surprise me if Watchtower doesn't come out with their own tablet that you can buy through jw.org. Maybe they already have this. So this is not a religion. This is a company that's propagating their literature. So now to replace their Book of Mormon or their Book of Watchtower, and they have many books to the Watchtower, they have bound volumes that just keep piling up. So now they have this all into a website. And now he's going to instruct us how to use the programming tool is the tablet, getting onto their websites, the programming that you're going to get here. So they're just introducing a brand new product, a brand new way of doing things. And so you're going to see all the pioneers, all the elders, all the ones that are serious about going out in the ministry, they're going to have a tablet. No longer a Bible. Well, they might have a Bible stuck in their case deep down. But these guys, these modern day Jehovah's Witnesses, will have forgotten how to use a Bible. Watch.
It has the title, Scriptures for Christian Living. This publication is similar in a number of ways to one that was released back in 1965. The book, Make Sure of All Things, Hold Fast to What is Fine. The title page described that book as a compilation of scriptures from the Holy Bible under 123 main headings. Its purpose? The title page said, "This book may be used to assure yourself of the Bible teaching on these subjects, and also to answer those who challenge your faith." Make Sure was a well-loved publication. Notice what two publishers enjoyed about it.
I love this book.
We're going to speed this up a
comprehensive list
bit.
of scriptures under topics ranging from angels to work help me to understand and identify important Bible principles.
Well, when the Make Sure book came out, we were pioneering in the Bible Belt, where we often had doctrinal discussions. I remember one time talking with a woman, and she brought up the rich man and Lazarus. So we went to that section in the Make Sure book on hellfire, and we were able to reason with her on the matter.
I was in the Air Force when I got the truth, and so this book helped me to understand a lot more clearly issues relating to war, neutrality, and friendship with the world. To this day, I keep my copy handy.
I would say that it was a teaching tool at the time, and as pioneers, we never left home without it.
Like the Make Sure book, which is no longer available in print, the new publication, Scriptures for Christian Living, is a compilation of scriptures on more than 100 topics. The purpose of this publication is to help us, as we're instructed at 2 Timothy 2:15, that is, to handle the word of truth aright. Let's briefly outline key features of this new publication using JW Library. Scriptures for Christian Living, which we'll refer to as SCL, makes it easy to locate Bible verses and accounts to help you deal with challenges and to encourage others. It doesn't list all the scriptures on a given topic. Instead, it groups the various subjects by category. To find a subject, use the search box in JW Library or browse the categories. SCL is divided into 7 categories: challenges, conduct, congregation, daily life, family, spirituality, and qualities. Select a category and then scroll down the list of topics.
So he goes on to show how to use this website, this interactive website. This is off a tablet. So this is their new Make Sure of All Things or reasoning
The
book.
subject you're looking
And for those of you who do not know about the reasoning book, Make Sure book, these books that they've had in the past, it's just books that they've designed to help them back up their doctrine. So let's say 144,000 go to heaven. So you turn in there to the book and there's a page on that and you can explain it somewhat from their angle. So everything's from their angle, and this is the thing. You need books upon books upon books to understand the Jehovah's Witness indoctrination. So we know right there that it's an indoctrination of men. It's not an indoctrination of God, because the indoctrination of God was completed when the Bible was completed. What more do we need than the Bible if we're going to believe in a holy book? But you see, you can get lost in all of their website stuff. You get lost in all their movies, and this is how they hide this big con that they have going. And the big con is just they're taking the Bible and making it look like they're God. And they're not. They're just people. And they even have to admit that now that they're going to court. But so we go through this whole indoctrination tool. He talks about it. He shows how they sit down and use it. And in the old days, they used the Bible. We can watch a little bit of this stuff.
Please hope that Scriptures for Christian Living will help all of us to do as 2 Timothy 3:17 says, and use God's word to become fully competent.
So we're not using
completely
God's
equipped
word, we're using their
for every
website
good
and their
work.
tablet. That's what we're using.
This is especially important as we get deeper into the last days.
Now they push the last days stuff, you know.
Have
these
you ever been
broadcasts.
afraid during the past few years?
Yeah, look at this guy
Afraid?
putting fear into people. Or have you ever been afraid? You know, just
You'd get sick? Afraid you'd lose your job? Afraid you wouldn't be able to feed your family? Maybe you faced a natural disaster, persecution, or war. For what
see, these guys don't have no fear of being out of work, not having anything to eat. You know, look at these guys. They're well fed. They're well looked after. And they get up there and talk about fear. They have no clue. The only fear that these guys have right now is that you're not going to donate and they're not going to get enough donations off this website stuff. That's what he's pushing here. And he's using fear. These guys are fear mongers, you know, let's face it.
seems like an eternity you've been living with fear. If so, what does it mean? Does being afraid indicate a lack of faith? Not at all. Faithful men of the past have been afraid at times. Take David, for example. King Saul had put a price on David's head. As a result, no place in Israel was safe for David, so he decided to leave the country. Where did he go? To Gath, the hometown of Goliath. Well, as you can imagine, David wasn't very popular there. As a result, the Bible says that David became very much afraid of King Achish of Gath. It was during that dangerous time in David's life that he composed the 56th Psalm. Let's look at a few verses, starting with verse 1. Show me favor, O God, because mortal man is attacking me. Now that's good to remember. No matter how powerful a ruler may seem to be, he is still a mortal man. He needs water and food to live. All Jehovah has to do is to take that away, and that man is a goner. Now let's look at verse 8. David says, you keep track of my wandering. No matter where David went, he was never out of Jehovah's sight. Then he continues, do collect my tears in your skin bottle. Are they not recorded in your book? David, that courageous warrior, wasn't embarrassed to admit that he shed tears at times, that he was afraid at times. Still, David didn't allow himself to be overwhelmed by grief. He was confident that Jehovah noticed his tears, and that God understood the reason why David was crying. It's as if...
Okay, I know what this is about. This is about being afraid when you go out in the ministry, and you go out there and you're afraid, you know, someone's going to throw a question at you. You're afraid. So they've made a publication, an interactive website on your tablet. You don't have to be afraid. Take that question, go into the tablet, get into their website, subject it, and then you start reading them the stuff. And people tend to believe what you read or what you print, and they think it's backed. It'll show scriptures and stuff, and then they'll say, yeah, you know, like, you know, we can show you right in the Bible. And they look, Jehovah's Witnesses look very, very well versed in the Bible because they know a few scriptures, and so it's all canned. It's a few canned scriptures. It's all in the front of that new Bible. It's in the front. They show you how to can the presentation. But let's listen to this guy a little further. But that's what he's doing. If you're afraid, David was afraid, but he had Jehovah's backing. Remember, Jehovah is Watchtower. So you're afraid, you're out in the ministry, you're afraid, but you have Jehovah. It's not Jehovah's backing. You have Watchtower stuff. You have a Watchtower website. You have a Watchtower, you have a tablet. That's probably not Watchtower. It's probably some other Apple or something like that. But you're using that to access Watchtower. Watchtower's no God, or they would control the internet. What happens if the internet goes down? Everyone's stuck using these tablets. Watchtower's not God. They don't control the internet. They rely on the internet, just like everyone else, to propagate their business, to fool people, to believing their indoctrination. So they're showing you that you don't have to be afraid. Jehovah, Watchtower, is behind you, just like and he's trying to make it look like that's how King David got his power, was from Watchtower. No, he didn't. But they use Jehovah all the way through like this, as if it's one God's and God's doing it all. So
as if his
let's
tears were
listen
recorded
to
in a book. David was sure that one day that book would be opened and Jehovah would repay the men who had made David cry. Isn't it reassuring to know that Jehovah is not indifferent to our tears? When you get into a difficult situation, pray. If there's something you can do about it, pray for wisdom. If there's nothing you can do about it, pray for peace. When a situation arises that makes us fearful, remember, we have a secret weapon. It's a powerful weapon. Prayer. If we pour out our hearts to Jehovah, he will listen to us and he will help us. Now that brings us back to verse 3. It's a simple statement, but it's very meaningful. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you. That's realistic. It acknowledges the fact that sometimes we're afraid, but it tells us what to do about it, to put our trust in Jehovah. Next year,
So you put your trust in Watchtower.
we'll have many opportunities to meditate on that statement because the governing body has chosen it as our year text for 2024. Once again, that's Psalm 56, verse 3. When I am afraid, I put my trust in you.
So Jehovah equals Watchtower. When I'm afraid, I put my trust in Watchtower. Because Watchtower is the only one representing Jehovah's name. That's how a Jehovah's Witness thinks. So when I'm afraid, I put my trust in Watchtower. We think it's Jehovah, but it's Watchtower. Because we can't access Jehovah's thinking without going through bound volumes and these reasoning books and these tablets that get you onto their internet. We, as the common person, we can't understand the Bible. It's too complex. We need Watchtower. It's just a big con.
From the world headquarters of Jehovah's Witnesses, this is JW Broadcasting.
Anyways, that's what I see when I see all this stuff. It's just a big sales pitch. So that's just one big sales pitch. They're updating everyone to this new brochure, this interactive brochure that interacts with their website. You're going to have to go and spend, I don't know what these tablets cost, but these big tablets aren't cheap. And then if you get this big tablet, you're probably going to want remote connection, right? Remote internet. You're out in the ministry. Internet's everywhere, but you got to pay for it. So you got to get in Canada here, you got to get a cell phone number, and then you got to buy a data package. So you buy the data package, and that's expensive. And then you got to figure out, okay, do I have unlimited data or do I pay as I go data? This is starting to look pretty expensive. You get into these packages, and to get into these packages, you almost have to have a credit card on the line, and you got to have an outlay. So it's not only buying the tablet, and sometimes you can go and get a tablet and they pitch you on giving it to you half price here in Canada because you're getting sucked in for a data package for 3 years or something like that. And that's how they finance the tablet through the data package, so you pay more money. But so being a Jehovah's Witness is not cheap. You have to have the expensive garb, suits. You can't just walk in like I'm wearing today. You can't walk in like that. You're not allowed. They wouldn't let you go out in the ministry like that. You have to have those expensive suits and ties and shirts. It's got to be clean. I had ones. I've seen this where ones have went up to brothers and told them to go to the dry cleaner and clean their suits. So not only do you have to have the suits, but you have to clean them regularly. If you're a pioneer and you're wearing that stuff day in, day out, putting a lot of hours in, you need 3 or 4 suits, and now you got to start running them through dry cleaners. You can't just throw a suit in the wash machine. Like I can throw this shirt, I can wash this shirt in the sink and hang it out to dry, and it looks the same. But you can't be a Jehovah's Witness and do that. So you have to have the expensive garb, you have to have the tablet, and now you have to know how to use this tablet, and now you're reliant on a data package. You have to have a data package. You're out pioneering. You've forgotten how to use the Bible and how to think and reason. You see, Watchtower does not want the people doing any more reasoning. They don't want people just grabbing the Bible and thinking about how to use the Bible. That's what Watchtower is doing. So when I look at this governing body update, it's a sales pitch. It's a sales pitch into being sucked into their website and becoming reliant on their website for all of your answers. And when you approach their cart witnessers, Well, they only have so many questions they can answer you anyways. And you see now he said there's 100 questions in here in that new tablet on that website. There's 100 questions they answer. So what if someone comes up to the cart and they have a question outside of the 100 questions? Like how you dealing with CSA, stuff like that. You go in there, it's not there. There's no answer to that question. I'm sorry. It's not in our database. You see, the Watchtower people are becoming like little robots. That's all they are. They might as well put a robot out there. They might as well get into buying robots and have robots at all these stands, because that's all the people are, is robots. They only do what the program allows them to do. And the new Jehovah's Witnesses will not even hardly know how to use a Bible, really use a Bible. So that's why I know on these sites we get a lot of people coming off and we got the truth, but they only know a few scriptures. And when you start reading the whole Bible, the truth really reveals itself quite quickly. Well, anyways, that's all I have for you on this big sales pitch of getting you into the website, and we'll see what happens in the future. So thanks for bearing with me on this tear apart, but someone has to do it. So anyways, we'll catch you in the future. And until next time, keep living your day with love. Bye for now. Oh, hello. My name is Vern. Join the channel. We cover JW World News, and we give you the rest of the story. Today, we're going to the Watchtower, and we have lives on Tuesday nights and Saturdays, and an excellent community. So join the channel and watch as we crash into the Watchtower. Here it is. I see it coming. Woo! Join us as we report in on the Watchtower.